It's the 14th of May and I'm Tom Glasson. Welcome to The Roast. Now, last night the budget was released, and because most of it had already been spoiled or leaked before yesterday, it wasn't much of a surprise. Australia was kind of like me and Seaton. You see, Seaton's always getting me gifts, and those gifts are shit. And I know they're going to be shit.
Tom, I got you a gift.
Hey, for me? Wow, what is it? It's just a wet brick.
Is it the right size?
Tonight, the budget. Now, while most shows will only explain how the budget affects an average Australian family, here at The Roast, we have looked at how it will affect everyone, individually. And kicking it off tonight, we have Rupert Parry from Cremorne, New South Wales. Hi, Rupert, thanks for watching. Now, according to our experts, God gave you 2 kidneys for a reason. Cha-ching. We'll have more personalised recommendations throughout the show, but now, a recap of Treasurer Joe Hockey's speech from Mark Humphries.
Budget night, that night of the year where a bunch of people you don't know decide how to spend your money. All your favourite politicians turned out for the occasion. Border Man, Garden Gnome and Wyatt Roy. Is it me or is he getting younger? The headline act, of course, was Treasurer Joe Hockey. Facing the difficult task of reducing Australia's government debt, he started with some inspirational words.
This challenge is not of our making, but we, the women and men behind me,
mainly men,
accept responsibility to fix it.
OK, Joe, so what's your strategy to fix it?
Our economic action strategy is not about cutting government spending.
Oh, thank God, because for a while there in the lead up to this budget, I heard you were going to cut a lot. Go on.
People under 30 will wait up to 6 months before getting unemployment benefits.
Oh no, he's cutting!
Reduce the growth in our foreign aid budget. Family tax benefit, Part B. The annual senior supplement will be abolished from the 1st of July this year. We have also methodically reviewed more than 900 government bodies, boards, committees and councils, and more than 70 are being abolished. The government has also decided to abolish over 230 bureaucratic programs.
But on the upside, there's some good news. Shovels are winners.
Shovels will start moving within a matter of months.
Finally, someone has snagged that elusive shovel vote, and our politicians are going to chip in to fix the deficit.
It is only fair that everyone makes a contribution, and this includes members of Parliament.
Ah, they're taking a pay cut, are they?
There will be a 1-year freeze on MPs and senior public servant salaries.
Right, so their contribution is to keep earning what they currently earn. That's some nice heavy lifting, guys. And speaking of lifting, Joe's got a killer catchphrase.
We are a nation of lifters, not leaners.
Hang on, that sounds familiar.
Make them not leaners, but lifters.
Joe's not just cutting, he's also pasting. And while we know many Australians weren't thrilled with the budget, how did Joe's colleagues respond? Well, while the Treasurer tackled Australia's government debt, Social Services Minister Kevin Andrews struggled with his sleep debt, and these two straight out defaulted on it. As for the Prime Minister, he thought budget night was comedy night. Don't worry, enjoy your private joke, Tony. It's only the biggest moment of Joe's career. That's right, laugh it up. Now do something gross. Ugh, and if you were hurt in this tough budget, I believe the Prime Minister's tongue is available to lick your wounds. For The Roast, I'm Mark Humphries.
Thank you, Mark. Well, as always, last night's budget saw some winners, like defence and infrastructure, and some losers, like foreign aid and families. Also, young people, old people, education, health, the public service, the environment, the unemployed, university students, people with disabilities, low-income earners and public broadcasters. Basically, to be happy about last night's budget, you'd have to have been someone who never gets sick, has full-time employment and loves roads. See, Tony Abbott is determined to be remembered as the infrastructure Prime Minister. But when he talks about infrastructure, it's only ever really about roads. Geez, he loves roads. He's even a Rhodes Scholar. But for Treasurer Joe Hockey, the job of dropping the budget was only half the battle, because after a few quick pats on the back and dabs on the sweaty forehead, he had to sell the budget. So we'll cross now to Alex Lee for a play-by-play commentary of that first interview. Alex, where are you?
Tom, I'm here inside Joe Hockey's brain, where he's been reliving last night's interview on 7:30 over and over again, like he's got post-traumatic stress disorder. That's a disorder which, incidentally, he'll now have a much harder time getting a concession card for. Now, the interview started off friendly enough for about 1.5 seconds.
Welcome to 7:30, Treasurer.
Great to be here.
Now, while some journos might have flattered their guests with a few softballs, Ferguson just went in for a straight-up kick in the dick.
You've just delivered that budget. It's a budget with a new tax, with levies, with co-payments. Is it liberating for a politician to decide election promises don't matter?
Well, I don't accept that question.
And while under attack, Hockey didn't so much fight or fly as he tried to blend into his chair like a sweaty chameleon.
Are you saying that individual promises made by an opposition leader no longer matter?
Now, I can tell you that at this point he was wringing his hands under the desk, imagining that he was wringing Sarah Ferguson's neck. So she then not only took him to school, she marched him into the classroom, sat him at his desk and then slapped him across the face with an education.
So any tax changes, if you like, or whatever you'd like to call it.
New taxes.
But whatever you'd like to call it, there's two. You know, there's actually fewer than any of the previous budgets from the previous government.
They're
so
still
that's
taxes.
a good sign.
I don't need to teach you, Treasurer, what a tax is. You know that a co-payment, a levy and a tax are all taxes by any other name. Am I correct?
Now, whenever he hears that bit, his heartbeat skyrockets because he knows he isn't meant to admit to new taxes. All he has to do is say no.
Am I correct?
Yes.
So there are new taxes in your budget.
There are increases in taxes.
New taxes in your budget.
Yeah, hang your head, Treasurer. You failed. Your only move now is to cut all funding from the ABC. Oh, I probably shouldn't play those thoughts in here. For the roast, I'm Alex Lee.
Thank you, Alex. And besides Sarah Ferguson, who after last night's performance does look likely to get her own show, Kickin' Dicks with Fergo, there was one other surprise winner in the budget. Ballerinas. They'll be getting $1 million for ballet students' boarding accommodation. No doubt they strong-armed that money out of the government thanks to their fierce reputation as nutcrackers. Now look, I hate to say we called it on Monday, so instead I'll just show you the clip where we called it on Monday.
Get your head out of the clouds, boy, before I knock some sense into you. You're a ballet dancer. Your brother's a ballet dancer. I'm a ballet dancer. You're not going to be a civil servant. It's just not a secure job. Now get your ass back to ballet school, you little bastard.
The Abbott government there offering a tokenistic ray of light to that impoverished Northern English household who will be able to afford to send their kids to ballet school. Just not the $7 it will cost to go to the doctors.
Plie. Position 1. Hey, look at that. $1 million for ballet accommodation. Told you should always listen to your dad. Was that a cough?
No, Dad.
Good. Can't afford a cough, you little bastard. Plie.
Well, if it does turn out to be a cough, he's got until July next year to stock up on prescriptions for all the diseases. We'll be right back.
Have you ever said something that was intentionally ridiculous to make a satirical point, only to have that joke come to life in a federal budget announcement? Wasn't that weird as shit? What ridiculous thing would you like us to say and hope it becomes federal law? We'd love to hear about it at The Roast TV or hashtag RoastTV.
Wouldn't want to be that person. Now, the government is also bringing forward $1.5 billion in defence spending whilst stripping $7.6 billion out of the foreign aid budget. And I think we will be needing that increase in defence spending because we will no longer be paying our neighbours to like us. Petrol will also be more expensive with rises in the fuel levy. And that's actually okay because it'll keep our shiny new roads in mint condition for decades to come since no one will be able to afford to drive on them. Finally, while it has been said that this budget is unfairly targeting the young, the disabled, the unemployed and the elderly, rich people will also be sharing the burden, temporarily, with a 2% deficit levy on incomes over $180,000 for 3 years. And before you say, hey Tom, that's total bullshit, please bear in mind that a small share of the burden is still considered a share, so it's technically accurate. But if you're one of the lucky few who has escaped the budget pain for now, you're probably thinking, how do I escape the budget pain for the rest of my life?
Okay, Mr. K. Smith, let's see how we can avoid any financial pain for you in the future. So, do you plan on ageing?
Yes.
Don't do that. You see, visits to the GP are going to become more expensive. How's your health?
A few colds here and there, a flu, some sort of rash.
Yeah? Well, that'll only get worse if you insist on ageing. If I was you, I would stop thinking about going outside and experiencing new things and start thinking about the exciting opportunities that exist within a bubble.
Within a bubble?
A hermetically sealed, germ-free oxygen orb.
Right.
Now, we need to get you into a career with longevity, and according to this budget, it's definitely a good time to be a soldier, a road builder, or a ballerina. So if you can pirouette into battle while laying down a cul-de-sac, you'll be set for life. Though I must stress, be careful not to pop your bubble.
So the upshot of all this is I've got to become an ageless soldier?
In a germ-free sphere, yes. Now, are you in a position to become a pregnant woman? You know, for the maternity leave?
Not really.
OK, Mr K. Smith, let me tell you a little something about the Abbott government. You're going to need a bit more of a can-do attitude when it comes to male pregnancy, OK? It's all in this information pack. How to put a soldier in your oven and 7 other habits of highly effective people who live in a bubble.
And if you think that pamphlet is a ridiculous document, you should try reading this one. Good night.